Hey everyone, from Western Carolina. I'm just sitting here watching my dogs play, wondering how much more our economy can take.
Across North Carolina, tension is rising as Trump voters confront a deepening economic crisis, lost jobs, rising costs, and fading promises. The uproar is growing louder, and people are demanding answers. In this video, you'll hear real stories from North Carolinians living through the fallout. Listen closely. The truth is unfolding now.
First, I'd like to remind the senators that you are elected to serve the citizens of North Carolina, not Donald J. Trump. And what we really need you to do is pass a budget. Last year, 51% of all the votes went to Democrats. 48% went to Republicans. Yet the senators have a supermajority, Republicans have a supermajority in the Senate, and one seat shy of a supermajority in the House. You also have 10 out of 14 elected officials in Congress. How did this happen? Surgical gerrymandering. Now you're saying this is all because of California action. As we heard earlier, California hasn't redistricted a thing. What they've done is they've responded to Texas, which started this fiasco for our country, and they put an initiative on the ballot to ask Californians if they should be redistricted. You should do the same. But I doubt that you will, because you know that North Carolinians would never approve this scheme. So you're liars and cheats. That's what this boils down to, liars and cheats. You can prove me wrong. You can turn this aside and deny this bill passage.
You think you can make it another year?
I don't know. Do you just keep going, rolling the dice, hoping things will turn? I mean, it's not looking good.
President Trump has promised a new bailout for American farmers, as much as $13 billion that he said would be paid for by the tariffs.
We're going to take some of that tariff money that we made, we're going to give it to our farmers, who are, for a little while, going to be hurt until it kicks in. The tariffs kick into their benefit.
Like most farmers we spoke to, Daniels and Carmack say they'd rather work their fields than rely on taxpayer money.
It will help pay some bills, but that's not fixing the problem. It's a Band-Aid when we need stitches.
Can you wait? Can you wait this out?
Farm families can't wait.
I hear it's affecting your health.
Yes. 4 blood pressure pills a day. 3 different medicines. 2 years ago, none.
What do you think about when you go to bed at night?
What's going to be left in a year, 2 years? Am I the one that broke what started in the late 1800s?
So my wife was having a conversation with a family member who happens to be married to a farmer, and the family member was talking about how they recently had lost a number of workers due to deportations and how that was going to affect them, that work on the farm wasn't going to get done, that they might not produce as much milk or as much grains as they normally would because they wouldn't have the workers to get this done. And once again, it shows that, one, Trump supporters, as these individuals are, don't care about the people. They care about only things when they affect themselves. They only care when it's going to affect the money that they make, or in this case, that they're actually going to have to go out and do what farmers should be doing, which is working in their fields, working in their barns. They didn't care that the people are deported. They care that they might lose some money and that they're going to have to actually work for a little bit of time. They don't care about the people. And it's another one of those "we told you so" moments.
I own a farm in North Carolina, and I can tell you for a fact that these raids will not make our state more safe, but they will make it more expensive, and it will be a stain on all of us. In May, when we start harvesting strawberries after the toll of deportation raids and the psychological trauma inflicted on the Latino communities continued to fester, farms like us aren't going to have our usual labor. We've already been told there's going to be a shortage. I spoke with one farmer who's posted locally for jobs harvesting produce for 10 years, and he's never had a local person apply. He doesn't even know what he's going to do next year. The people being rounded up are hardworking individuals, not criminals, and the blunt force tactics are only meant to make people afraid. They're not targeted, they're biased against people who don't look like me. Many of the people affected are working on our farms, building our houses, constructing our roads. They're the hardest working people I know. They're humble and kind with actual family values. I believe a day of reckoning will come, but unfortunately not just for the people perpetuating this awful tragedy, but for us as a country for letting it happen. Have the day you voted for.
Yeah, so it's absolutely true that Hendrick Motorsport in Charlotte, North Carolina just received $2.25 million of taxpayer money to fund a fleet of vehicles for ICE.
Jim is a Republican who voted for Donald Trump 3 times.
How do you feel about your vote for Donald Trump now?
Well, I feel like perhaps I should have considered some other options.
Among other things, Jim imports packaging supplies for his honey, so he's paying real close attention to the tariffs Trump just put in place.
We just bought our year's supply of bottles from Taiwan and our year's supply of corks from Portugal about 3 weeks ago. So that would have been, another $5,000 or $6,000 out of my pocket.
Which is partly why he's repairing instead of replacing this 40-year-old forklift.
The cost of equipment has just gone through the roof to buy anything like that because it just would be cost prohibitive.
He's also holding off on improvements around the farm.
Well, we're not going to hire any more people, that's for sure.
It's more than just the tariffs. For the past 2 years, Jim has been selling honey to the federal government, which then provides it to schools and food banks. But after Donald Trump took office, the USDA cut those programs suddenly as part of the federal government's effort to streamline spending.
For a lot of other local farmers around here, it was a major source of reliable revenue. For me, it's going to cost me around $150,000 a year.
$150,000?
Yeah, roughly 50% of my revenue.
That's a huge hit.
That's a massive hit.
I want to do a video on, kind of the farming and kind of the crisis going on in row crop farming right now. Things are very hard in row crop farming for a lot of people. All agriculture is struggling, really, except for livestock. Cows are pretty good right now, which those guys needed a good money-making time because they've been selling cows too cheap for 10 years. But on the row crop side of things, you see a lot of things about, corn's the same price it was in the 70s and all that. And I just want to say, because I've got mixed feelings on it, not every farmer is in bad shape. There's a lot of people that's been farming the past 20, 25 years, very conservatively, not showing out, not buying, new trucks every year and X9s and all that, and they're kind of sitting in the driver's seat, especially if they're not leveraged very much, because they can buy some really nice equipment really cheap. And there's some people that have not managed very well and kept growing and kept growing and kept growing, and they're leveraged to the hilt, which is not good when we hit a recession like we have right now. And the human side of me says I hate that for them, because I don't want to see anybody lose their farm or their business. The business side of me says, well, they're kind of getting what they deserved in a way, because, you can't just keep going and kicking the can down the road and keep borrowing money and keep borrowing money and keep piling on debt and expect to farm your way out of it.
A sitting president has asked states to rig their voting districts in order to avoid accountability in the midterms, and here we are answering the call. You know whose calls we are refusing to answer? Yours. I thought our duty was to the Constitution and to the people of North Carolina, and they are overwhelmingly opposed to this bill. We asked the public to submit comment on this proposed map. They answered the call. As of 10:30 this morning, we had received 12,280 comments. I have them printed right here. No point in these proceedings has their input been meaningfully considered. And I believe this calls into question the integrity of the House and these proceedings.
So thank you, Representative Helfrich, for pointing out that since yesterday and today we had another 1,000 comments, totaling 12,215. And out of those 12,215, and deep gratitude to my legislative assistant for going through most of them, she's found 3 in favor of these maps. 3.
Why do you support Trump's destructive and disastrous trade war? So would you give me a chance to answer this question? And then you're going to start yelling after I get it. President Trump told us throughout his entire campaign that he was going to be using tariffs to negotiate to negotiate with foreign countries, and that's exactly what he's doing. And to negotiate, you've got to have an edge. You've got to have something to negotiate with. And he's been able to bring foreign leaders to the table that would not come to the table otherwise.
Why are you doing nothing while Trump destroys the U.S. Constitution?
I sense maybe a faction in this room of folks that might not have voted for President Trump, and I'll say that I happen to believe very much that President Trump supports our Constitution. And I sleep good at night knowing that every vote that I cast is in support of our Constitution and your freedoms and limited government.
From small towns to growing cities, families across North Carolina are feeling the pressure. Many who once felt hopeful now face uncertainty as their financial struggles deepen. Their voices reveal how rapidly changing conditions are reshaping lives and expectations across the state.
The Trump administration is on pace to be the most anti-veteran administration in the history of America. That's right. More than 6,000 veterans have already lost their jobs without just cause. The veteran community is getting massively hurt by these cuts because there have already been 2,500 federal workers fired from the VA, which is the primary source for veterans' health care in America. And it was recently reported that in the coming months, the Trump administration plans to fire over 83,000 more employees from the VA. This would mean that almost 20% of the VA workforce would be out of a job, and tens of thousands more veterans would be unemployed. This is shameful, and we should all be disgusted. The hardworking people at the VA are patriots, and they deserve our gratitude, our respect, and our support. How dare Elon Musk and his Doge cronies categorize the critical care that so many veterans need as wasteful spending?
The administration canceled the entire refugee resettlement program entirely. There will be no more refugees coming to this country after 45 years of this. This is wrong.
We are not going to stand for this. Many of us are people in this room that take seriously the words from Leviticus 19:34. The foreigner residing among you must be treated as one of your native born. Amen.
There's a very dangerous piece of legislation that's been introduced in Congress. It is called the SAVE Act. It makes it harder to register to vote. This is absolutely voter suppression legislation. Don't just contact them once, contact them over and over again, and don't get frustrated if what you're getting is voicemail. I quite frankly get concerned when I get a person because that tells me we're flooding those telephone lines and flooding them with
it is all intentional. The best way to destroy something is by appointing someone to lead it that doesn't even understand how it functions. So when they started appointing these folks that knew nothing about healthcare, about education, about transportation, about defense, when they started having these folks that know nothing to manage these huge departments of multi-billion-dollar budgets, that showed us exactly where they were going, and unfortunately, that is the point.
Medicaid also covers my medical appointments,
equipment for my wheelchair, other assistive technologies I use daily, and a treatment I'm on that's specific to my disability. But to maintain my benefits, I have to stay on a fixed income. And this is what I love telling people is I do an annual evaluation to make sure I'm still disabled. Which sounds absurd, but I say this to illustrate how difficult it is to acquire and maintain these services. The idea that there are millions of people abusing and living off the system is blatant propaganda designed to advance a political agenda, and I need everyone to understand that and make that loud and clear. The proposed budget cuts do nothing to regulate excessive federal spending, and they would do massive harm to my community. Without proper support at the federal level, states will not have the ability to continue Medicaid funding for the millions of elderly, disabled, and low-income people who depend on the program. And I think with many of the leaders in our nation right now, whether they identify as disabled or not, many of them clearly know what it's like to go through life without having a spine. If Senator does claim to care about people like us, then, speak up in defense of this and other life-saving programs and services that you and your loved ones depend on. Having been immersed in disability and rare disease communities for years, I know people on Medicaid who are entrepreneurs, teachers, engineers, artists, public speakers, community leaders, and researchers at top universities. We want to contribute to society and lead fulfilling lives, and all we're asking is for our elected officials to grant us basic dignity and to protect the services we need to continue living. While programs like Medicaid are viewed in terms of dollar signs in the minds of politicians, for us, they are instrumental to our survival.
Make racist reps! Racist maps! 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 Make racist reps!
You know what's not talked about enough? The fact that North Carolina ranks 43rd in teacher pay, ranks 48th in per pupil spending, ranks 49th in public school funding effort, and our teachers pay the second most out of pocket of teachers in any state in America.
Can you tell me why in North Carolina, okay, why are we still at $7.25 for minimum wage? Since 2009? Can somebody explain that? Can somebody literally make it make sense for me? Because in all of these years, shit's just gotten more expensive. So why is minimum wage here still $7.25? How could I afford a home? How could I afford rent? How can I afford my food, my bills, telephone, all this shit that we have to pay for? I don't know who the hell is in charge, and maybe I need to look into that and research some of that, but who is in charge of increasing the minimum wage, and why has it been since 2009? We need to put a 1 in front of that 725. 1725, okay? That's what we need. But I would settle for 15 because that seems a more, okay, I get it. $7.25, okay? That's fucking tooth fairy money at this point.
Okay, super quick. I own 2 properties in the state of North Carolina. One is Cabarrus. It's a rental property. I have a landlord policy on it. The insurance is going up. My primary is in the city of Charlotte, and it's going up almost $400.
I'm Vicki Boyer. I am from Orange County representing myself. I want you to know I'm a North Carolina native, and I can trace my ancestors here back to the 1730s. I'm going to tell you that this is one of those days that will live in infamy in North Carolina history. Today, North Carolina Republicans show their true face. They have lost all sense of honor. They have lost their Christian values. They've become completely absorbed into the American Fascist Party. Their oath of office, sworn to with their hand on a Bible, means nothing to them. It was only a means to an end. Their actions today prove that their plans for North Carolina are so unpopular that they have to cheat to win. They don't want to govern, they want to rule. I hope they will remember that old adage that cheaters never prosper. The best sign I saw Saturday at a No Kings rally was this: Yo Papa didn't run moonshine through North Carolina hollers just so you could be a bootlicker.
Because they believe your vote should be worthless. They believe that your vote shouldn't matter. They can't believe we're even still doing this thing we call democracy. But let me tell you what's not going to happen once they do these maps. We're still not going to have a budget. It's amazing. They get together and agree on stuff that's affecting them and their power, but when it comes down to helping you, suddenly we can't come to an agreement. Let me tell you what else is not going to happen. Your food prices are not going down. Your ability to get a job is not going up. Your ability to buy a house is not going up. But that's because they don't care. So what I'm asking you to do is be tired of being tired. Get sick of being sick. Do something for yourselves and get these guys out of here. Because if the only thing you can agree on is that you got to screw North Carolinians every time you get a chance, then North Carolinians don't need you.
We had an actual full Democratic sweep in Greensboro, North Carolina. 6 of our 7 Guilford for All endorsed candidates actually won their races. Most notable of those being Irving Allen, who only raised $5,000, and claiming the last at-large spot versus Richard Beard, who had $130,000 plus from all the corporate entities you could probably think of. That's amazing. What this election shows is that people around the country are fed up. Democrats are inspired to go ahead and go change the status quo and stop electing the same old, same old. It's a complete rebuke of the republicanism that we've been having to endure with for so long. Now we have one of the youngest and most progressive city councils in all of America. And I'm just so excited to see where this goes. Now we're on to the midterms, where it'll be me in District 5, my brother Taven for Congress in District 6, and then Lawrence for Congress in District 11. We're gonna change this nation, one way or another.
Hey everyone, from Western Carolina. I'm just sitting here, watching my dogs play, wondering how much more our economy can take, because it's just, the prices of everything just keep going up. And I don't know how, well, you can't work much more. I mean, most people have side hustles and second jobs, and it's still not enough to survive. When is enough enough? In Western Carolina, we're just all the way around still messed up. Pray for us.
So I'm curious, if you live in North Carolina, in the last 5 years, what have you experienced when it comes to bills and just the cost of living going up? I personally, where I live in the Outer Banks of North Carolina, pretty much everything has gone up. The groceries have definitely gone up. Gas has gone up. Not crazy amounts, but it's a little bit higher than the average. Rent has gone up. Property taxes definitely gone up. Electric has kind of gone up, not a whole lot. And I'm trying to think what else has gone up. I feel like groceries is the big thing though. Like just buying food is one of our biggest bills besides rent.
And if you've been thinking about moving to North Carolina, don't. No ma'am, don't. Reconsider. Minimum wage here is still $7.25. Baby, ain't nothing here for you, ain't nothing here. Unless you got your own shit going, you got a remote job that you're going to be working from, don't do it. When I say overpriced, underpaid, that's exactly what this state is.
I moved to North Carolina a little over a year ago, and I am still baffled at the fact that minimum wage is $7.25. If someone is making $7.25 an hour, 40 hours a week, that is $15,000 annually. That is not livable. Just take a second and look at these apartment prices. This is for a 1-bedroom, 1-bath in North Carolina. The average is around $1,300 a month. Now take $1,300 times 12. That's over $15,000. So you would be paying more in rent than you annually make. So you cannot survive. The lawmakers in North Carolina need to do something about this. We have too many people struggling to even make ends meet or feed their children.
Charlotte really trying to be a sexy city, and there's nothing sexy about Charlotte. Like, I went to go visit the Hanover apartments, because y'all said that would be a good option. You guys, when I tell you this one bedroom is $2,400, I'm going to show you a clip of it. It's the most underwhelming thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And I don't even feel bad saying this, because I was literally talking to the leasing lady about this. I was like, this is $2,400. It was like on like the 4th floor too. I'm like, bro.
If you're a millennial and you live in North Carolina, the state of North Carolina is not a place that you want to work. And let me tell you why. For one, the salaries are not competitive with the private sector. You get paid literally pennies, and you get paid once a month. Like, in this economy, in this day and time, nobody should be getting paid once a month.
You've got higher utilities, higher rent, higher child care, higher grocery store prices, and because of the war in Iran, here comes gas prices. Do you know that I know you know, because you've been to the pump, but gas prices have gone up more than $1 in just the past month. It's not right. It's hurting North Carolina consumers.
I am sitting here doing my budget. So I drive 13 miles to work one way. Every day, that's 26 miles for one day. You times that by 5, because I go to work 5 days a week. That's going to be 130 miles a week. Then, if there's 4 weeks in that month, that is 520 miles that I'm driving to go to work. If my vehicle gets 16 miles to the gallon, that is 33 gallons a month that would take my car to get me to work. If you times that by $4.29 per gallon, that is $140 freaking dollars a month just to go to work.
Y'all, I'm getting gas right by NC State, and I want to show you what I see on this pump. Yes, you did do that, bruh. You did. You gotta laugh to keep from crying, but that is just hilarious. But it's also true.
Ladies and gentlemen, those electric vehicles ain't looking too bad right now. I saw somebody in the Tesla today, and I was like, damn, he winning right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, look, I know that some people hate the electric vehicles. You don't like the Teslas, the Rivians, whatever. Like, but right now, I be in one. I be in one at this very moment. I charge up with pride right now because it's better than being at the pump. I saw gas in a part of North Carolina that said $3.99 for regular gas. Now, for people in other states, in North Carolina, regular gas being at almost $4 is unheard of. $3.99 for regular gas for 1 gallon. Them charges ain't looking too bad, man. Them charges ain't looking too bad.
Grocery prices are actually pissing me off right now. We are spending $350 to $400 a week on groceries for a family of 5, and that doesn't even last a whole week. I know that we have teenage growing boys that eat a lot, but damn, how are people doing this? I'm working on growing a garden, but realistically, that's only going to help us a little bit. I cook dinner every night, and people say cook from scratch. Well, we have to have 2 incomes just to live these days, and no one's home all day to be cooking all these meals from scratch. And the next thing you're thinking is meal prep. First of all, who wants to eat a bunch of food that was cooked days ago? I don't. Plus, you get 2 days off a week to do everything you didn't get to do throughout the week. There's not enough time. This rat race is freaking crazy. I'm about to sell my car and anything else I can because I'm trading hours of my life to go to a place I don't want to go to, and I'm barely surviving, and it's really weighing on me. And sure, there's cheaper food options, but at the expense of your health. Today's grocery day, and I'm on one today.
Lord, you go to the grocery store, yo, it's crazy. I'm in the grocery store. Even my turkey necks I used to get for like $5. It's now $10 for some damn turkey necks. Damn. Shit is how my coffee that went up. About $1.50. What is going on in the grocery store today? Jesus. Ground beef, $17. Y'all know. Shit is getting tight out here. See, that's why I ain't buying nothing. That's why I don't be buying clothes and doing all that carrying on and all that stuff. Oh, no, I'm not doing it. They want to have these prices up. I'm going to have my money in my pocket.
Every single person living in real Raleigh is expecting to spend $400 more a month just on groceries. So with that, you save $1,000. That's $1,000 a month more on living, $400 more on food, and this is just the basic expenses of life.
So there's all this talk, right, about how much eggs cost. Have you guys bought butter recently? So I just left the Harris Teeter, which is local here in Raleigh, and the Harris Teeter brand was out, which was like, I think, on sale for $4.99. And the other brand was Land O'Lakes, which I would say is just regular brand, right? It's not premium brand butter. 4 sticks of butter, I kid you not, $8. $2 for a stick of butter. What the fuck is going on?
I'm in Publix right now, but please help me understand, when was a box of cereal $9.29? Literally for a box of Honey Nut Cheerios. And I don't know if the prices have been this high because honestly, I don't eat cereal, but lately my kids have been into cereal. So now I'm here purchasing cereal. But y'all, one box of cereal, the giant size, is damn near $10 for one box. And the only reason why I'm about to grab 2 is because it's buy one, get one. It's BOGO. But y'all, these grocery store prices are insane.
I ordered $125 worth of groceries. Baby, when I tell you it was just one handful that could sit right on the damn passenger seat in the seatbelt. The cost of living.
What are you hearing from folks there, Kayla?
Well, Chris, something that we learned yesterday talking to voters all day here in Nash County is this is a working class community. It's a diverse community, and it's also a bellwether. Nash County is the only county in North Carolina to vote for the winner of the presidential race every cycle since 2012. And a word we heard consistently from folks talking about the economy was unstable. People are seeing higher grocery prices. They're concerned about the cost of health care.
My Duke Energy bill was $728.
Duke Energy is proposing an 18% increase over the next 2 years. That translates to about $34 more a month for the typical customer. That's on top of 22% increase in rates since 2020.
Many of those customers made it very clear at a public hearing tonight they do not support the company's plan. WUCT's Delaney Tarpley sat in on the virtual hearing hosted by the State Utilities Commission. Delaney, did you hear any member of the public support Duke Energy at the hearing?
No, Fran, I did not. Many people said an 18% increase would be devastating to their financial situations. The Utilities Commission has to approve Duke's request, but everyone who spoke out tonight urged the commission to say no.
These increases will negatively impact my life.
Those words echoed by many people in front of North Carolina Utilities Commissioners Wednesday night. Customers who called into the hearing urged the board to deny Duke Energy's request to raise rates by 18%.
This 18.5% increase is just not unaffordable. It is predatory for those on fixed income.
From rising rent to higher grocery and gas prices, many say their budgets are being pushed to the edge. For some families, it's no longer about saving. It's about simply getting by and sometimes doing without.
I have a 1960s home that's not very well insulated, but the most my bill has ever been was $400. And that was when there was a family of 4 living in the upstairs unit and we were home the entire. My current renter is one person and I'm one person. I was home almost none of the time. Over the month that this bill was super high, I was out of town. My bills last year were a little bit high, but nothing crazy. And then starting in this winter, it skyrocketed to about $500 some in December and about $700 and some in January. And honestly, since Duke Energy is a monopoly and our politicians are so corrupt, I have no idea what to do about this. I'm going to report it, obviously, but
This is what happens when I go to report it. It just goes in circles.
anyone else in North Carolina having Duke Energy fucking problems? Any suggestions on how to get our politicians to do something about this would also be great. Duke is already scamming us for the time they polluted waters and then had the taxpayers pay for it. I think we need to get the monopoly out of Duke Energy somehow. And I'm looking into solar, but apparently you have to, in North Carolina, still pay Duke no matter where you live. So yeah.
If you live in North Carolina and you have Duke Energy, you need to stop what you're doing right now. All right? Because this has dropped. They are currently asking the commission's Utilities Commission for an 18% rate increase. 18%. After all of our bills have almost doubled in the last couple months. because that utilities commission is as corrupt as can fucking be. And unless we make our voice heard, they are absolutely going to give them that 18% rate increase. And once again, we will be stuck footing the bill.
We can't keep this going as the people of North Carolina. We can't have our utility bills be more than half of our mortgages. We can't have renters spending half of what they pay on rent in utility costs. And our politicians are doing nothing about it. Absolutely nothing.
Hey, can y'all do me a favor real quick? I want to put my city on the map. I want to tell y'all like what they did. I have it right here. Can we put Rocky Mount, North Carolina on the map? Because there's something going on in my city that they don't want to talk about. They're trying to keep it off mainstream, but I need people to start talking about it. So due to the fact that we have people that are in place, you know, on our city council, this, that, and the third, XYZ, there's been a lot of corruption up there at night. What? So I want to explain something to you. You know, due to the fact that they want to, you know, steal money, you know, take lavish vacations, not pay a light bill for 10 plus years. They basically have used up all the city's money to take care of their own personal splurge time. That's what I'm gonna say. You like nice vacations, nice shiny things. You like to buy properties that, you know that's going to be high value that the city's going to potentially buy back from you, which is crazy. You know, a little church, that's beyond the point. But my thing is this right here. This month alone, I have paid 3 light bill payments. 3 light bill payments. The city has openly came out and said it, because at first I thought I was in the wrong. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting my house renovated. I thought maybe it slipped my mind. I was like, oh, I forgot to pay my light bill. And I was like, wait a minute. I have the confirmation number. There's how did I get a second light bill? Then there's a third. The city just came out and said, hey, sorry for the inconvenience. Due to the fact that we need to catch the city up because we're in so much debt. We billed you guys 3 light bill payments. Your lights are not going to be cut off. You know, you're good. We just need to get the city out of debt. So we're going to put you on a payment plan. You still have to pay it. You got 3 light bills in 1 month. We're going to put you on a payment plan. This is crazy. 252 Rocky Mount. What are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? Can y'all please, can somebody do some deep diving and I guess expose some people? Because I'm really confused on why I have to pay 3 light bills because y'all want to steal money from the city. That's crazy.
So Duke Energy got caught overcharging people in North Carolina, and what was their punishment? Their punishment was that they got rewarded for it. Yes, watch this.
Today, the North Carolina Court of Appeals ruled Duke Energy did break the law when it raised fuel rates in 2024. However, customers won't get any refunds. Judges say Duke charged customers for fuel costs.
2 things, both that are going to piss you off. 1, customers don't get refunds. Do you know why? As I've told you before, the scam with utility companies is they get to charge you for anything they have to pay for. The reason the courts aren't forcing Duke to repay the customers is because they could literally turn around and bill them for forcing them to repay them. Yes, they can just bill the customers for that again, legally, because it's an expense that they incurred. The second thing, do you know what the state legislature of North Carolina did because this case was ongoing? Yeah, they decided to just pass a law making the very illegal thing that Duke Energy did perfectly legal. So they can continue doing that. Yes. Man, who are you guys voting for in North Carolina? Wow. Sucks to be you. Thanks!
North Carolina is phasing out the state-level corporate income tax by 2029. If you didn't know, now you know. That is what Republicans in the House and Senate chambers for years have been working on. They have spent their part-time time, mind you, on doing that. So if you can't afford your rent, your mortgage, your health insurance, your groceries, your medicine, I want you to remember just what your Republican state legislators have been doing with their time in North Carolina, making sure that corporations don't have to pay that pesky income tax anymore.
If you live in North Carolina, you should know that your kid's teacher didn't receive a new raise last year, not a single penny. Meanwhile, the cost of everything, gas, groceries, rent, is going up. Now, North Carolina was already a bottom 10 state for teacher pay, and the best teachers in the state are leaving for states that actually value them. The reason this is happening, it's actually pretty simple. The Republican-controlled legislature in Raleigh didn't pass a budget in 2025. In fact, we're the only state in the nation that didn't pass a budget in 2025. And without a budget, the state can't fund the salary increases that teachers deserve. Passing a budget, it turns out, is one of the primary jobs of the General Assembly, and they haven't done it in almost 2.5 years. Now, incidentally, this November, every single seat in the General Assembly is on the ballot.
A report just came out called The Highlights of the North Carolina Public School Budget. And one of the charts in it compares teacher salary in North Carolina to the nation and the Southeast region. And you can see from this graph that North Carolina has tracked well below the nation for a very long time. But what's really problematic, and I hope our new Blue Ribbon Commission pays attention to this, is it actually got worse over the past year because we have no budget and teachers didn't get a raise. So the report says that teacher salaries actually dropped by 1% between last year and this year. And we all know that the cost of living, inflation, and everything else went up. So when we try to look at problems in North Carolina public education, I think we should turn around and look at our legislators who are causing problems by starving our public educators and giving them negative raises. It's crazy.
When the budget is not passed on time, it doesn't just delay numbers on the page. It affects real people, real classrooms, and real students. An approved budget is not a nice to have, it's a necessity. Because the budget remains stalled, teacher salary schedules are frozen. Educators who were expecting raises that help them keep up with the rising cost of living, were left without that increase in salary. This uncertainty makes it difficult for teachers to plan for their families, their homes, and their futures. In Person County, the effects are especially troubling. 53% of our teachers did not receive a raise this year. More than half of the professionals working with children every single day are working under the same pay they had before, despite growing responsibilities, ever-increasing expectations, and a higher healthcare cost. Without an approved budget, funding for classroom materials, instructional support, professional development, and staffing remains unclear. Teachers continue to reach into their own pockets to provide basic supplies, all while navigating this financial uncertainty. It sends a painful message that the state is not prioritizing public education.
We are in a ship with no direction in this country. We're in a ship with no direction in the state. Can you imagine driving a bus? Can you imagine driving a ship and there's no leadership, there's no captain, there's no direction, there's no navigation? That is what is going on. And especially here in Alamance County, I'll be honest with you. If you ask Dennis Riddell right now, what is the direction that you want to see Alamance County? He will not have an answer for you. If you ask him what's the direction that you want to see in public schools, he'll have a long pause and he'll talk about manners. That is not what we need in North Carolina. What we need right now is we need higher paying wages. We need lower electricity bills. We need fully funded public schools.
You know, when I hear terms like Medicaid fraud and abuse, I immediately think of need a reason to explain to people why we're getting ready to take their health care.
So right now in North Carolina, we're facing about a $1.4 billion gap in critical needs. Now, why is this? Well, you won't be surprised to hear that it has to do with the fact that we don't have a budget in the state of North Carolina. So the governor has asked for $319 million to keep Medicaid whole, which especially impacts rural communities and also those affected by Hurricane Helene, so they don't, lose access to care when they need it the most. It also includes $397 million for teacher raises because right now we're close to the bottom in teacher pay. So that affects every classroom, every child, and our ability to attract great teachers. It also includes $211 million to support public safety and law enforcement and correctional officers and youth counselors and to stabilize a system that's under real strain. So these aren't extras, you guys. These are core responsibilities for the state. I mean, bottom line, this is about whether or not families can see a doctor, whether or not kids have strong teachers, and whether or not communities feel safe. So we can disagree on a lot, but meeting these basic needs shouldn't be one of them.
I'm supposed to be making a meal plan and a grocery list right now so I can go grocery shopping tomorrow, and I just don't want to. I'm kind of in a state of paralysis because I know how much it's going to cost. I don't know how much anybody else is spending on groceries, but our grocery bill is like $500 every 2 weeks. There are 5 people in our family. 2 of those are teenagers and 1's a preteen. I do not buy pop and I do not buy pre-made anything. Everything's being made from scratch except for potato chips. That's our one thing. This does include toiletries and pet food. We also don't buy beef because we bought a whole cow. And I'm telling you this so I can justify it in my own mind. And I'm not buying name brand stuff either. I shop at Aldi and then Costco. Like, why is food so expensive? And I know everybody's going to say, oh, it's the tariffs. It's been this high since 2020. I really think at this point, the big food corporations and the distributors and the grocery stores like Walmart are doing this on purpose just to make more money. At first, they were blaming it on COVID, and now they're blaming it on tariffs. It's just them being greedy. And I'm sick of it. Am I the only one trying to spend less and not being successful at it at all?
The stories you've heard today reveal how the rising cost of living is affecting everyday life across North Carolina. For many MAGA voters, these challenges are raising bigger questions about the economy, leadership, and what the future holds. Behind every story is a family trying to stay afloat, a worker trying to keep up, and a community feeling the strain. These voices remind us that economic pressure is more than just numbers. It's deeply personal. If this video gave you something to think about, share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to help more people hear these stories. And click the video on your screen to see what's happening in other states across America.